Hello traders, and welcome to NOFT's weekly trade highlight. In a moment, you'll see us recreate one of the best trades of the week with NOFT's order flow and market profiling tools, along with detailed trade commentary and NOFT trade tactics. Our weekly trade highlight is brought to you by our head trader Troy Epperson, who in between assisting traders and taking the next step in their careers, provides weekly and daily guidance in our live trading room every single day. Before we get into this week's highlighted trade, we need to remind you that trading does carry significant risk, and all information in this video is just provided for educational purposes only and is not an offer or recommendation to trade future stocks, options, or Forex. From everyone here at NOFT, good hunting out there and happy trading. Here's Troy.
All right, we've got a setup coming up here in the 6J. Really nice looking setup. If you look at the longer term chart, you'll see we had a big sell-off over the last 24 hours, and now we're getting a big bounce. And this is one of this type of settings I love whenever we get a big bounce off of a big sell-off, because it's a great opportunity to get back on the side of the trend, in which case this is down. So if we can jump up into this VRL right here, this is a trade location we've previously determined, and it looks nice here with the order flow, that would be a great opportunity to take a short and get on the side of the trend. I love the situation here. Nice looking setup. A bounce off of a big sell-off many times is just an oversold condition. It gets rectified, it comes back up, and then the trend continues. So let's keep a look at it here. We're at just crossing into the New York Open, 930. We have there's where that signal is, that level is. We also have a couple of other levels right in this area, and we combine that with a potential double top here. As you can see, data is filling in here. I'm actually going to go ahead and load an order and go ahead and get ready for this, because I like to have my order previously loaded, especially when I'm coming up to a double top. And there's a great trade location right there. So kind of got a bunch of stuff going for this trade. So as we're moving into here, you can see that it's already starting to look toppy. These red things, this red is telling me that the buyers are just getting tired up at the tops of these candles. So again, as you see ahead of time, by looking at the data inside the candle here, we can see that the buyers are getting tired, and it's already starting to come off a little bit. But the key to this trade is making sure that you stick to your trade locations, and right up here is where I want to take this trade. I don't really want it here. Plus there's a double top right there. If I get short here, it certainly could come back and retest that, and maybe even, as the yen loves to do, is run stops. I'll probably get stopped out if I take it. So I'm going to wait to see if this thing will come back up to this double top and maybe even come up to this area right here, which I've previously looked at on the longer term chart here. It's going to try to come to that spot right there. Love this type of setup. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. Hopefully it will go ahead and give me what I want to see so I can take this trade. And again, the other thing I like about it is look at the risk reward here. If I'm wrong, I just bail out 10 or 15 ticks. If I'm right, we can easily retest and come back into this area down here. So it's got great risk reward potential here. Okay, here it's coming up. It's testing the double top here. We got a sequential decline right here. Got potential trap right up here at the very, very top. Ooh, this is starting to look really, really juicy. Usually when they blow through a high of the day, they'll go 4 or 5 ticks in. So I'm actually going to anticipate this and go ahead and I'm going to go ahead of this number, make sure that I get a fill if it comes up and tests that. I don't want to try to top tick it or anything. In fact, I'm even going to pull it down a little bit. I want a fill on this trade. Okay, there you go. Oh, look at that. It went right up to that line. Oh, that's amazing. Right up to that line, and then it's not going any farther, but you got sequential declines, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if this one actually ends up being a sequential decline when this, what I mean by that is the numbers inside the candle are decreasing as price is going up on the right-hand side here. Now, I'm going to spread this out just a little bit so that I can I'm going to move my target down, probably down maybe all the way down here to the POC. Here's the POC of the day. This is the highest, great place to put a potential target. The POC is the point of control for the day. We'll just see what happens here. The other great place to put a target would be this other trade location here, and also this ITL line. So we'll see what happens here. Looks like it's really moving great in our direction here. Again, this is sort of a classic setup, and that's one of the reasons why I identified it and was able to anticipate. Again, it's very important that you play in front of these lines to make sure you get a fill. If I'd have been sitting right there or slightly above the line, I would not have gotten a fill on this. So really do like this setup. Now it's just a matter of waiting until the price starts to move in our direction. Now it's already doing that. It's already doing that. Love it. We'll just go ahead and sit here. Don't see any reason why I should even remotely even change my stop. My stop is 10 ticks up. I was only going to risk 10 ticks. My initial target was about 15 ticks, which is somewhere in here. But this thing, due to this, again, let's go back and look at the full size right up to that line. Where could it go? Absolutely come down to this level. Could absolutely come down to this level. So huge amount of potential profit that can be made. Number of ticks there, really big. So let's go ahead and just let this thing play out. Again, I'm watching for buyers, and there just aren't any. So there's no reason to exit this trade. I'm going to stay in this trade for the foreseeable future because there's just no buyers. There's one buy imbalance there, and that's it. Yeah, nice negative delta. Multiples of imbalances, a sell stack right there. All this is very, very indicative of continuation of this turnover and the momentum. Now here, starting to bounce a little bit, but look, I have still, where are the buyers? There's no blue numbers, only one blue number there, and it's at the very bottom right there, and it's only an 11. Negative delta, great reason to stay in this trade and let this thing play out. I'm going to go ahead and move my stop since I can to the high of the bar before, lock in some profit. Once this bar closes, I'll roll my stop down a little bit more. Now we're at a pivotal point here. This is the previous location area. Want to see what happens around here. So it could certainly bounce here and then continue to go back up. We'll have to just see what happens. It came in here pretty hard, but it is starting to bounce. It's bouncing off the value area high here. That's just very, very common. Also, it's being very common to bounce at this potential trade location. But I'm definitely interested in seeing, again, just doesn't seem to be very much buying going on. Continue to watch for that. Now that this bar has closed, I can certainly move this down to a tick or two above the high. Lock some more profit in. Just let this thing play out. Again, showing me absolutely nothing to. There's no reason why I'd want to cover this trade as it's moving down here. You can see here there's another ITL level. This is another potential bounce point, and we'll watch to see what happens as it gets down to that level. Again, I'm just not seeing the presence of buyers. Buyers, what do buyers look like? Well, they would look like blue numbers on this right-hand side of the candle. And you can see that summary right there says 0. And look at my deltas. My deltas are just continuing to stay negative. Delta means that the net aggression is to the downside. Or here, the net aggression is negative. As long as we continue to have net aggression negative and no buyers, I'm going to stay in this. This is a little concerning. We have some blue numbers. There's 3 blue numbers there. Positive delta. But at the same time, look how small that delta is. Only a plus 14. So not really too much to worry about. You're going to have this ebb and flow. It's going to go down. It's going to come back up, go down some more. I'm not too worried about it here. So let's let this thing play out. Still getting negative. Price is still going down here. Let's see if we can take out this low. Again, there's just no reason to get out of this. Now down here we have a POC. And we have this, this is our trade location, it's called a VRL. And this is a potential bounce spot. the POC as a potential bounce spot. So doing pretty good on this trade, so I'm going to probably take the profit, even though it could still go lower. We do see very common in most markets to see an oscillation between the value area high here and the value area low here. That's very, very common, or going from the high of the day to the low of the day. Very common to see that several times a day, where the market will just oscillate around that area. Even on this little, look at this up bar here. It's a very small up bar, almost a delta doji or doji, and then the 67. So 67 is very, very little on the aggressive buy side. Not impressive at all. When you see the numbers coming down, you'd expect to see at least a 100 or greater. You're not seeing that, and the prices continue to go down. Again, where are the buyers? Just not seeing buying or aggressive buying come. Now here we are. Here we have 4 imbalances to the buy side and only 3 imbalances to the sell side, but price is still going down. Again, the delta here is the key to staying in this trade. It's just not very big. So even though it's net buying is what's going on this bar, it's just not very strong, and price continues to oscillate to the downside. I'm not going to even remotely consider messing with this. This is perfectly fine. I'm going to stick to it. And it looks like it's going to come down even harder here. Came down, took out the low by 1 tick. I'm just going to stay until I see some major buying come in. Okay, all this time I can be, as each candle closes, I can go ahead and adjust. I'm going to adjust above the value area high here. That's a 17 ticks. Well, let's see. All right, 19 ticks up at this point right here. I'm going to go ahead and let this take me out. It's at a POC. Big, nice run down. Don't need to be greedy. Go ahead and take this if it'll give it to me at the POC here, just above this potential bounce spot. There, they came right to me, but they're not giving it to me. Again, where are the buyers? Okay, price is bouncing, but look, it's got a negative delta. There's only 1 blue number there. So still not showing me, even though that's a green candle, negative delta there. No reason to get out of this trade yet. Here we've got positive delta. Positive delta, there's some buyers there. Two blue numbers. Price continues. It's like the buyers just can't. Oh, now we're at 134. 134. Fairly interesting. That delta is a little bit concerning. If they just take me out, I'll be pretty happy, because this is starting to look like it's bottoming. Hey, we have a sequential decline down here at the bottom with a buy response. Sequential decline here with a stack, a buy stack there. This is starting to look, maybe this is becoming close to a bottom. Now we'll just have to wait and see, because I can move my stop. Let's move my stop down to there. So now we have, we're 12 ticks. Oh, there we go. So it finally took me out here. I am totally okay with that. Totally okay with that. Love that particular trade. The setup was just a perfect type of setup. Love the potential. Let's back this up. I'll back it up just a little bit. This double top here, plus all of this other stuff going on, with the lack of buying going into the top there, looks great. Love that. Love that setup. Nice trade. Very nice trade. Now it is bouncing here. It is bouncing. But you know what? I don't care what happens after the fact. I really don't. If I got out too early, I just don't care. I'm going to take my money and move on.